Too hot for TV.
Welcome back to Doctor Who Too Hot for TV. We are the podcast that looks at all things Doctor Who Extended Universe. And to misquote Jackie Tyler, there's a strange man in my house. Who are you? What are you doing here?
Hello, I'm Conrad, and it's very exciting to be here in the Dylan Reese lair.
It is a lair.
It is a lair.
Under a volcano.
Past John Barrowman in the lift. He was looking a bit flustered and a bit dishevelled. I'm not quite sure.
He was walking funny, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a bit. Anyway, it's very nice to be here. Thank you.
It's wonderful to have you here. Now, as we journey through Doctor Who spin-offery, people suggest all sorts of tat, and you, my friend, are no exception. So what have you brought to the table today?
Yeah, I thought I'd have a dig and try and find something. I didn't really know what I was going to do, but I said, right, I'll have a dig and try and find some sort of grandad level obscurity from my collection. And I actually went looking for something and found that it wasn't there. I thought I might have bits and pieces of it, but I thought, oh, it's completely missing from my collection. So I rushed to eBay, bought this object. And yeah, just thought, right, let's have a go at this. And you'd never heard of this thing or seen it?
I think I've seen the packaging.
Yes.
But I've certainly not seen inside it.
Yeah. So yeah, this thing is I've got to get the name right. It's the Doctor Who trump card game from 1978.
How exciting.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I have played Doctor Who Top Trumps when the series came back.
Yeah.
They released lots of Top Trumps. In fact, I think they're still doing them. And somebody bought some for a train journey once because I like Doctor Who and was and so we played Doctor Who Top Trumps, and I don't know, it was a time when I had a lot more spare time, so we were top trumping all the time.
Did you ever play them as a kid? Did you have them in the playground or any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I feel like we had like Micro Machines ones and maybe like wrestling, maybe Turtles, I don't know, but yeah, I feel like they've certainly always been there.
Good. It was a thing, because it was very much a thing when I was a kid as well.
What sort of ones did you have?
Well, first of all, let's just get into who wants to hear the history of Top Trumps? Come on.
Me.
Good. I know it'll take a couple of minutes, but it's going to take you back to Austria in the 1800s.
Oh, wow.
Believe it or not, we're going way back. So I brought my lederhosen. Thank you for wearing your milkmaid outfit. It's all
anytime.
Very excellent. Basically, there was a game called Quartets,
right,
which was this sort of a fairly basic card game for kids. And it was sort of educational in that you basically, the object of the game was to find 4 cards of the same sort of category.
Okay.
That was it. Fairly boring. But that was, in the 1800s they were playing that. And the same company, Austrian company, brought it back in the 60s. And they think that is what kind of gave sort of various German companies the idea to do some sort of matching card game for kids. So in 1976, this German company called Altenburg Stralsunder, thank you.
That was very good.
I've been practicing that. Released this, what we sort of know as the same format as Top Trumps, but they were called Ace Trumps.
Oh.
And before we go any further, we should probably acknowledge that for people in the Midlands and the North, Trump means fart. It was guff in the West Country for me, but it's Trump to everybody.
So it basically meant ace fart.
Ace Trumps. And they were kind of like, it was all transport, military, all this kind of stuff.
All the tough stuff.
And I can't believe, although this was the first range ever, really, of proper Trump cards, I remembered I actually had a set of these. I looked at all their stuff and I was like, oh my God, I actually was given these. I had one called Crazy Cars, probably one of my dad's abortive attempts to straighten me out. I thought, I know, let's give the boys some cards. And I vividly remember playing these with my sister, and the categories, because you obviously have to have the categories, the values of who's got the highest, but it was things like speed, cylinders, CC and HP and things that I didn't know what they meant. This is awakening
some memories, and I still don't know what those things mean.
Yeah, no, I still don't. I know
CC
nothing
is
about
what you do on
cars.
an email. now, right? If you want
That's
to talk to
it.
somebody.
There we go. But yeah, but I do remember playing these things. So obviously, so this was in '77, and I remember playing Crazy Cars because cars are so crazy. So that was fun. Basically, so that was called Ace Trumps. But very quickly, another German UK company called Dubrek, they made the stylophone. I don't know if you remember these things.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
Same company that made that. They did their first proper, and these are actually called Top Trumps. So this was the first time they kind of called it that. And they were aimed to be sort of pocket money things. They really retailed at about £1.75, which in 1977, probably the average pocket money was about 50p. So it would take you a few goes a few weeks of saving up for this thing.
Yeah.
But it was a absolutely massive craze, and their first sort of series of Top Trumps, again, it was all cars, planes, ships, tanks, all that kind of stuff,
all that man stuff,
but with one weird exception. In '78 they did this one, which is quite famous and quite popular amongst sort of card people. They did horror Top Trumps, these quite gaudy, think the sort of Doctor Who annual artwork type stuff. There was a Dracula set and a Devil Priest set. These things are really beloved. People really, I missed out on these completely, but people love these things. They're quite sort of culty. You can still buy them online. Weirdly, one of the characters is Fire Demon, and they've just used Azal and just done a very sort of lousy sort of painting of him. This won't be the last off-brand thing we're seeing today. Let's just going to warn you there. But then the next stage of it is, so this craze was really big of official Top Trumps. Then basically the cash-ins started. So because it's as long as you didn't use the word Top Trumps, you could make your own card game because it's quite hard to copyright gameplay. Yeah. So basically anyone could rip these things off. So this company called Jota-Star, who were a Japanese and UK company, went absolutely bananas with trump card games. They weren't called Top Trumps, they're trump card games. Their first big one was Marvel, because Marvel Comics was kind of getting a bit popular. They did a superheroes card game with all your Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Iron Man, all this kind of stuff. And this is basically the template for the Doctor Who game.
Right.
So these cards are white. They've got some artwork on them. They've got 3 categories. They had physical strength, special powers, and weapons. And this were a bit unusual because normally you'd only get about 30 cards in a pack. This lot, you did 40 cards. Half of them are heroes, half of them are villains.
Oh, shit.
So you can play them jumbled up. Or you can, one of you can take the heroes, one of you can take the villains and see who wins.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so it kind of mixes up. So yeah, that is basically a sort of speed run through Top Trumps. Like you said, they can be later. Let's just do it now. So that was in '78. The Doctor Who one came back, and then 20 years later, the BBC website did a little online Top Trumps. They did one called Alien Fact File in '98.
I don't remember that.
In 2002, they did Who Trumps. Sorry. Who Trumps? Who Trumps?
It never won't be funny.
It's Colin Baker. That's Who Trumps. And then obviously, like you said, Winning Moves, who are kind of like a huge, toy game manufacturer from 2006 to 2013, did all those Doctor Who ranges that you know about. So, and there were also video games as well.
Yeah, I find that weird.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. Thank you, Brendan Jones, for giving me this information. So it's IDOS Interactive did in 2008 did a video game version with Tennant and Martha Jones, and it was all in the animation style of Infinite Quest, all of that, and it was for the Nintendo DS and PlayStation 2.
See, we've got a Wii down there in the corner.
Yeah,
and when we were looking for games, they don't go for much. They're like £5 or something like that. There are loads of Top Trump games for various brands, and I was like, surely just play Top Trumps.
Yeah, I'm not quite. Yeah, I can't quite get my head around that either. Really, I'm just like, just play cards.
Maybe we're just old.
Yeah, but apparently the games were quite good. They're fairly well reviewed, and people said, "Oh, it is like playing the game and blah blah." So who knows? It was a thing if you're into that. But that's not what we're doing today.
No.
Because this Jota-Star company went off. They did Mr. Men, Holly Hobby. They did stuff like the Real Ghostbusters and Mask, and probably the stuff that was maybe approaching.
I remember Real Ghostbusters and Mask.
There you go. So all your stuff. But we're going back to 1978.
Of course we are.
Because I got hold of one of these things when I realised I didn't. Because I thought I had 1 or 2 cards. And I was like, oh, God, I don't have any. And I just thought, panic. So I went to eBay and spent, let's say, under £51 on this pack of stuff. That is ridiculous and completely obscene. I do appreciate, but in my defence, because I've got to justify these things, like there's very few Tom Baker things that I really want that I haven't got.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is something I used to have. It's sort of basically apart from the Blu-ray collections, I'm sort of done collecting. Yeah. So I'm like, come on, for one more last go, let's splash out.
Have you got a TARDIS tuner?
Do a thing. I haven't got a TARDIS tuner.
I'd love one, but they go for so much money.
Yeah, that's right. And it's, a bit of a shonky radio. No, and I never had it either. So I've slightly need to have kind of at least owned it a bit. But I never had the full set. So I was very excited when this thing arrived. And you've agreed to be a guinea pig.
I have.
You've done Weetabix. You passed the Weetabix. You survived that.
We didn't record the Weetabix.
No.
Well, I mean, we did a Weetabix podcast, but then we met in real life and played the Weetabix game.
Yeah. In fact, when we recorded that, I hadn't printed them out or anything like that. No. So, we've all been through a lot since.
Yeah, we have. It's been a wild adventure with games from the 70s.
Well,
today is no exception.
Well, I'm back on my bullshit, and today I've gathered here for this beautiful item.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Basically, the top's a bit of shonky, so you just have to open the bottom. I will let you basically dig into that, Dylan.
Oh, wow. So we've got a purple box, and I'll put some pictures on the internet with a picture of Tom Baker, half in shadow. Tom's looking a bit... It's a bit Soho 4am, Tom, isn't it?
It's a little bit. A bit post-coach and horses.
Yeah. And a bit of a funny-shaped TARDIS. We'll go for that.
And as you always do you always do the summary of the story, I thought you could maybe on the top card, which I never had when I was a kid.
Doctor Who and the legendary Legion battle with alien attackers. On brand. Oh. Earth is threatened with total annihilation, and an overwhelmingly deadly fleet of alien monsters have joined forces to bring about Earth's destruction, and her only hope for survival, I didn't know Earth was, I suppose Mother Earth, lies with the fabulous Doctor Who, as he's often known. The Doctor has returned to Earth's past in his incredible time and space travelling machine known as the TARDIS to recruit the greatest band of warriors known to mankind. With the help of this legendary legion of Earth's past heroes, he hopes to crush the dreadful invasion before it becomes too late to save the Earth from a horrible fate.
I mean,
do you think this is reworded from the Legion of Superheroes?
I don't know what you mean. I mean, you can just tell it's all like, legendary legion and alien attackers. It's all very... Now, I didn't know about this thing about dividing them between heroes and villains. Yeah. I always played them jumbled up. So it's really up to you how you want to do it.
Are they jumbled up now, or...?
I think they might be...
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
Let's go jumble.
Okay, actually, I think let's just give it a good old shuffle.
Let's see what happens.
And there you go. So, listeners, we're about to do this. I'm not quite sure how much of this is we're just going to put excerpts in.
I don't know how exciting this game will be for everybody listening, but we're going to play a game of Top Trumps.
I'm just shuffling here.
Can you hear that?
Listen to this. Listen to this thrilling audio content.
This is what people come here for.
This is going to blow your fucking socks off, thanks.
He's shuffling.
Right.
Consider yourself shuffled.
Okay. We'll on the shuffle. Oh, God, we've got to divide them into exactly 2, haven't we? So there's 40 cards in here. So here we go.
Let's do it.
This is where you'll put
I'll cut these bits.
You're giving this bit in. This is very important. It's really nice though, because actually, I never had the.
Yeah, now you've got the full set. They're in good nick as well, aren't they?
They're not bad. Yeah, the box is a little shonky, but the actual cards themselves, they're a bit. You can tell they've been in an attic. They're a little bit sort of dusty feeling. Yeah. But I mean, they're really good nick.
Well, we are going to blow the dust off them today.
We certainly are. And I just want to say, for this, I haven't played this for 45 years.
Wow.
Which is quite weird.
This is a very exciting, and I'm very happy with my first card.
Are you? Good. I'm quite happy with my first card. Let's have a go.
It's a favourite.
So, Dylan, you choose first.
So, I have a pretty good drawing of a mechanoid.
Ah, have you now?
And I'm going to go for Weapons 8.
Oh, damn it. Well, Weapons 4 from Samson, that famous...
Samson.
Yeah, basically, the heroes are... generic historical, fictional, or mythological figures. So just
Israelite hero of tremendous strength, referred to in the Bible.
Oh,
Biblical Samson,
Mechanoid versus Samson. This is, by the way, exactly how Big Finish choose all their creative choices.
Let's fast forward through some of this, shall we?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go for mental ability.
Nice.
5.
Oh, mental ability 5. Well, I can... Have you got rocking that mental ability?
I've got the famous Doctor Who character, Annie Oakley.
Well...
a frontierswoman of the Old West.
That's a poor choice. I've also got I've got a very famous Doctor Who character, Chaka, King of the Zulus. whose mental ability is 7.
Oh.
So Annie Oakley, over here, please.
Ah, poor old Annie
That's how it
Oakley.
works, isn't it?
There
This
we
is
go.
sort of how it
Oh,
Right, so this is me calling this time. So I'm going to summon up all my mental ability of 5, which is Lord Nelson. Has got a mental ability of 5, which I think might be a little bit insulting.
Lord Nelson has the same mental ability as the Censorites, who also have a mental ability of 5. So
Let's put them in the middle.
put them on the table.
That's it. So I think I'm going to go. So I'll go for mental ability of 8.
Right.
I can't see what it is. It's still a lot, but I'll go for mental ability of 8.
Well, I've got Hercules, and unfortunately, he's a big boy, but he's not very smart. So his mental ability is 3.
Dear oh dear.
So it looks like you are winning.
And I've won with now. What's wrong with this picture? Listeners at home,
So
what are you seeing, Dylan?
So I'm seeing a really badly drawn Ogron,
Yeah,
but the name is Sea Devils. So yeah, they've really fucked that up.
They've properly fucked that up.
But I admire the effort, and they look a bit meaner than the actual Ogrons.
They do, yeah. They look a little bit odd,
but they're not the marine cousins of the Silurians.
No,
they strike Earth defences with a hidden undersea base.
There we are. So yeah, I'm cleaning up. So that Sea Devil Ogron hybrid.
Yeah,
I'm having that.
I like the fact that they didn't go, oh, well, there's a huge history of Doctor Who. We could use all the companions and doctors. They've gone, well, we've got Earth's history cards, so we'll use half of them and half Doctor Who monsters.
It's really odd, and they're not all historical. You'll see there's like all this kind of stuff in there. But while we're talking about this stuff here, it's worth saying that the artwork basically mostly just lifted from the Doctor Who the first and second Doctor Who monster books. There's also some ripped off Weetabix art in here because they thought, who'd ever noticed that?
You would.
Well, wrong.
When they were doing this, though, they didn't think 2 men would be sat in Southeast London playing this game 40 odd years later, did they?
Yeah, no, this is very true. Okay, so I'm rocking the demons who've got a very fearsome mental ability of 8.
So I've got mental ability of 8 with Colonel James Bowie, the inventor of the murderous Bowie knife. His ability with his chosen weapon is second to none.
I've got
the Ogrons. Of course, I haven't got the Ogrons. I've got the Sea Devils.
You are lucking out with the off-brand 7.
With the mental ability of 8.
Oh, you see? The Ogrons giveth and the Sea Devils take away. I'm
going to go mental ability again. Mental is the one to go. I've got 8 because I'm a Wirram.
Well, you say mental ability is the way to go, unless you are the TARDIS, which, according to this, has got special powers of 10, but a mental ability of 0. That famously thick spacecraft, the TARDIS.
Have they not seen The Doctor's Wife?
No, they certainly haven't.
Not only has it got mental ability, it's got tits.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Its windows are wrong, so 0 points.
There we
go.
You
get that.
Oh yeah,
You win that.
How exciting!
Yeah.
Right. I have got good mental ability here, but we need to spice things up.
Okay, what are you going to do?
We've been playing a while.
Come on.
So I'm going to go weapons 5.
Well, I can match your weapons 5. Those gel guards.
Well, I've got Sayo Chai, the samurai warrior, an ancient Japanese fighting man.
To be honest, he just sliced through the gel guards with his giant samurai sword.
Well, exactly.
I think that is a little late.
I've only got the bloody Sontarans.
You absolute bastard with 7. My weapons 2. Ice warriors.
What?
No weapons.
They've got a gun that... Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really bear scrutiny.
I would say the Ice Warriors and the Sontarans are as lethal as each other.
I think you're right. You're right. They've really gone Humpty Dumpty on this one's face.
Yeah.
They've really lent into that.
They have. And
well, plot twist, bitch. I've got the Cybermen who've also got 8. Draconians versus Cybermen. Let's just have a moment. That would be great.
Yeah,
to see that,
give me that in my life.
Well, I've got 5.
Right. I'm going to go mental ability again.
Okay.
And I'm going 8.
Oh, fuck. Davy Crockett, you thick shit, at 5.
Davy Crockett was never going to be a match for Davros.
Oh,
a very green Davros.
Yeah, he's very green. That's another one ripped off for the Weetabix because I can tell the art in the background.
The totally ruthless, crippled scientist, creator of the Dalek. I'm not sure we'd say crippled scientist now.
Do you know what? I once said that to Paul McGann when we were recording Terra Firma. I said, I don't think we say crippled anymore. And he just read the next line. He virtually shouted the word. What have you got there?
The Silurians.
And what are you saying? Weapons of 7? Well, they have got a great big dinosaur and a third eye laser eye.
But did they have a laser eye?
Well, not laser, but they've got that thing where they go,
Oh, yeah. Or whatever it is. That's my impression of a Silurian.
very good.
A mental ability 5, yet the Sea Devils were like an 8.
Yeah, poor show.
Yeah,
Poor
these
show.
guys haven't watched Doctor Who.
They certainly haven't.
Which is weird.
I know.
So, once again, Special Powers 10.
Is this the way we do it, that the winning person does it, or do you supposed to alternate it?
Oh,
Now I'm losing. I want to start changing the rule. No, you go on, keep going.
It's
keep going.
fine.
No, go.
Special Powers 10.
Special Powers 10. Special Powers 8 with these rather pig-snouted autons.
Yeah, they do look like little
They're
pigs.
a little bit. You can look right up
The
there.
autons were never going to be Omega. though.
You see, they have done, like, on stuff like the TARDIS and Omega, they do throw in the 10s sometimes.
Yeah.
They've got a bit of a handle on it, but not much.
I've just been going, haven't I?
You are just storming this.
I'm a winner, what can I say?
You are a winner. That's why you're sitting indoors on a Friday afternoon playing old card games with a 54-year-old man.
Before heading to the BFI to watch a cartoon of a missing Doctor Who.
Oh, that reminds me. Let's crack open the meths. Stop drinking that.
Right, Special Powers 7.
Special Powers 8 says Sherlock Holmes. Who have you got?
I've got the Yeti.
The Yeti. Notice now, this is where you can see they've slightly messed up because they've got weapons nil with a picture of the Yeti blasting rays out of its eyes off of a target
They've
cover.
not seen The Abominable Snowman.
They haven't, but I'm just glad to be bit in the winning streak again. And
I'm happy for you.
thank you. From the Zygons.
I've got the Axons, who have weapons 0. Which,
Oh.
I mean, is bollocks.
That is bollocks. And I'll tell you what else is bollocks. These Zygons, you can tell these are ripped off from Weetabix because he's given them little green fronds coming out of their elbows, which is basically bits of the bushes and shrubbery from the Weetabix card. And he obviously thinks they sprouted out of people's elbows. So there we go.
What a prick.
What a prick. Whoever this nameless, our poor artist was,
Yeah.
draw this
He's
stuff.
dead now, he doesn't care.
No, he doesn't care. Okay, I've got mental ability of 10, Dylan.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
I've got a mental ability of 6 because I am Geronimo.
Well, Geronimo's no match for Doctor Who.
That's true, but Doctor Who does adapt his name as a catchphrase in his 11th incarnation.
Certainly does. And I'm very interested to know what the Doctor's weapons of 6 are. He's carrying 6 weapons.
Oh, maybe it's that gun from Day of the Daleks.
Maybe it is. I think Annie Oakley versus the Mechanoid. I think I say that, but it literally is Big Finish nowadays, isn't it?
Have you not just recorded that one?
Yeah, we did actually. It's brilliant. It's really, really good. It's a whole box set of Annie Oakley versus the Mechanoids. Cheeky cunt.
Mental ability of 8?
Mental ability of 8 with our faux Ogron Sea Devil.
Oh, look at the matchup. We've got the Ogrons versus the Sea Devils.
Is absolutely extraordinary. I want to take a picture of this afterwards. What are the chances? Because these are famously the 2 weird cards that everyone remembers.
Look at
Well. So it's interesting they gave Sherlock Holmes weapons of nil because of his brains, but the Doctor, he is tooled up and packing heat with 6.
Well, the Doctor actually carries a knife. But
Does he?
those scenes are deleted.
Wow, nice.
She shanks people when they're not
Does
looking.
he?
Yeah, and he's a bit of a grimy fighter.
I love that.
You bastard.
Come on.
The Samurai Warrior has a mental ability of 7.
Should he be in charge of a big sword?
No, absolutely not.
Oh no, I have a horrible feeling this game is going to go on forever. And hand over whoever you've got.
Draconians defeated by Docky Who.
Hand over the Draconians before Doctor Who stabs you. 6. I'm just remembering as we go along, I keep remembering half-remembered rules of like, I think when you get a draw, I think you've got to draw on the same category, but I've only just remembered that. But I don't think that's actually in the rules. I think you just, I
mean, we can go with that from now on. Let's
start the whole game again.
I do recognise this picture. I've got the Authorised.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I've seen it somewhere before. The pig.
It's the one where it's just lying down. Is it lying down? And so they're doing a full pertwee shot up the nostrils.
Right. And so
they've embellished the nostrils to really go in there.
And something else. Sorry, Bodicea, if you're listening. Special power knife from my pal Hercules.
Well, Hercules has beat the giant robot, which is a shame. This seems. I think we may have done something wrong because this game appears to be lasting forever. But let's keep going.
It was the 70s. People had more spare time.
We did. Because I'm here with Stabby Dogs, who is 10. Oh, damn, Geronimo, go and get absorbed into the hive. Okay, this game is now officially going to go on forever until somebody just concusses the other at the head. This is a very nice, a little Sarah Jane just floating there behind the web, which is kind of quite cute.
Well, she looked terrifying.
Yeah, her eyes are a bit red. I think
her eyes are red. She's very pale. It's Zombie Sarah.
Zombie Sarah.
Yeah, those hands are massive.
Yeah, gorge.
Bad things are going to happen.
Gorge.
Or good things, depends.
I'm bigger on the inside. You are. Well, sense rights, you let us down again. Too much thinking. What is a fucking Parthian warrior?
I don't know. We'll find out later.
We are down to 4 cards here. Dylan, you could take this.
He's the creator of the Bowie knife.
I don't know what a Bowie knife is. I don't live in East London.
It's what they use for hunting and stuff, I feel.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
The worst thing that happens in Oxford is someone will steal your bicycle pump. Oh God! Okay,
go on forever.
Okay, we're going to put a time. You were 4 cards away from winning, but
in many ways, this game only has losers.
It certainly does. We've
got 2 more minutes.
Okay.
One of us has got to win.
Everything to play for. Mental ability. We'll do one more card just for the heck of it. Weapons 6 with the Zygons.
Weapon 7 with Annie Oakley, the most powerful woman in the universe.
God damn it. And with that, just because we can't play this any longer, we declare you the winner.
So how was that for you?
It brought back a lot of memories, sitting there going, mental ability, special powers. It just it is quite weird because I haven't played that for 45 years. So it is sort of a very weird going back in time thing. I think there must be a rule or two we slightly missed. It seems to go on forever with no sign of it not going on forever.
I remember it going on forever.
Do you?
Maybe we should have read the rules.
Who reads the rules?
Yeah, exactly. Figure it out on the way.
Rules are for cowards.
So what do we think of the gameplay? Were we suitably impressed or were we bored after? But the thing is, I think as a kid, you can play that things like that for hours. But as an adult, you're like, well, I've got 20 minutes for this tops.
Yeah, once you start seeing the cards more than once, the novelty goes out of it.
Yeah.
But I do find it quite entertaining, the combinations of, Mechanoids versus Annie Oakley, or Chaka, King of the Zulus versus a Wirren. I appreciate that kind of.
And
more importantly, how did you find it? I mean, it didn't get a bit repetitive after all.
It did get a bit repetitive, but I haven't got the attention span for these things anymore.
No,
As a kid, I would have loved it, and to be honest, like Annie Oakley was a revelation.
She was just cleaning up.
I know, left, right, and centre.
Ice Warriors, not the most valuable, least valuable.
Yeah, Yetis, not very good.
Not very good. They had the weapons of Zero, even though the picture had them clearly zapping out of their eyes.
Yeah, I don't think the people who designed it, had necessarily watched Doctor Who much.
No.
I think, like you say, they probably got the monster book and went, what is that? That's an Auton plastic dummies, that'll do.
Yeah.
And they were much more in their comfy space, if you will, with historical figures.
That is very true. That's very true. But I'm very glad it exists.
Me too.
It's got that off-brand dodginess, but
I love the art.
The art is largely ripped off from stuff, but the art's, I don't know, it's colourful, it's fun, and it was quite bizarre the moment that we laid down at one point the faux Sea Devils and Ogrons, which is the sort of the one thing everyone remembers who knows this pack.
That's really when we climaxed.
That was a peak, and then that's when we played stripped trump cards, and that really became very, very exciting.
Until Daisy walked in and ruined it.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it was an awkward moment, but she's used to it.
It's okay.
Is there anything else we want to say on these?
I suppose all it's is we've got to rate it, haven't we?
We have got to rate it. Is it a clanger, a banger, or an average meander?
In the spirit of top trumps, I think we've got to do the categories. I think for clangability, I think it's got a clangability of 7, because there's a lot of clang in that.
Yeah,
because there's they've missed switcherooed the Sea Devils and Ogrons.
Mm.
Some of the artwork ripped off from Weetabix, thinking no one would ever notice.
Yeah. Zygon tufts of hair.
Yeah, Zygon tufts of hair, which were actually just ripped off from the artwork of the greenery on the Weetabix cards. So clangability of 7, I'm going to give that. But bangability, I can't help.
Bangability.
I can't help.
Calm down, everybody.
I can't help giving that a bangability of 8 because I love it and I really don't care. And I will probably, just as a foolish, bored child, I played these things for hours. I will now be playing this in pubs as a foolish old man.
Yeah.
So for me, I have to give it a bangability of 8. And in terms of average meanderability, I think it's a 0 because there's nothing average about it. It's just too weird.
I would give it
quite meanderability.
I would agree with everything, but I'd say the average meanderability
was quite high.
Was because if you don't have a way to finish, it just goes on and on and on.
Yeah, you're right. So that meanderability is quite high.
Yeah, exactly. But all in all, I enjoyed looking at the art. I enjoyed playing it. And if any of Conrad's friends are listening, they'll be playing it very soon.
They will. I haven't got any friends. That's why I'm here playing cards.
Pete Lambert's listening.
Oh, thank Pete. Can you play cards with me?
Too hot for TV.
So the next thing we're going to look at is something called Who is Tom Baker? Unauthorised, which was released in June of 1997 from a famous company called Visual UK, who I'm sure we've all heard of.
Oh, I love them.
It was called Who is Tom Baker or Who is Tom Baker Unauthorised? And there's not a lot known about it, but it was produced and directed by a man called James Engwell, who was not credited on there. More of that later. News at the time. K9, the robot dog who accompanied the Doctor through 4 years of screen adventuring and enjoying his own spin-off escapade of his own, is to return in a solo 4-part television serial intended as a precursor to a whole new series. That obviously took about another 15 years to happen. They were trying to get K9 off the ground for many years.
That was their thing.
Yeah.
They were trying to do that.
The Australian series that happened,
yeah,
they've been trying to get it off the ground for 20 years.
Bloody hell.
Like, when Doctor Who was dead, they were peddling a K9 series for many, many years. And there's like CGI test footage and stuff like that. But it was sort of off the back of Wallace and Gromit.
Right, yeah.
That Bob Baker wrote.
Yeah, yeah.
They started peddling that, but, Well, I'm glad it happened eventually, even in the format that it did. Also, Auton's back to Plague Unit. It was announced that BBV, after the success of the Probe and Stranger series, were going to do an Auton trilogy that would feature the Brigadier. Now, that trilogy happened, but without the Brigadier, ultimately, and became known as the Auton trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
And in standard sort of 1997 news, the independent producers working on both sides of the Atlantic to develop a new format for television for Doctor Who continue their efforts to secure the series' return, and have been investigating the possibility of the so-called virtual studio, i.e. computer simulated sets.
Ooh.
That never happened. I mean, we've just had computer simulated sets on Boom and look like dog shit. But there we go. Got to stop slacking off Russell T Davies.
Didn't see it.
Didn't see it.
Yes, that's the news of the time.
Yeah, and releases at the time from Virgin Publishing. We had So Vile a Sin featuring the Seventh Doctor, Roz and Chris. We had Decalogue 4, Regenerations, and Dragon's Wrath, a Bernice Summerfield book. And then from BBC Books, they just launched their own range of books. So we had The Eight Doctors, with the Eighth Doctor, Sam, and all the other Doctors. And The Devil Goblins from Neptune, featuring the Third Doctor, Liz, Brigadier, Yates, and Benton. And the comic strip was Fire and Brimstone, featuring the Eighth Doctor and Izzy.
What? And also, I have to say, speaking of books, while we're in Dylan's lair, do you have this incredibly impressive bookshelves and bookshelves of books? Do you have all of the Eighth Doctor adventures, the new adventures?
I've got all the EDAs, past Doctor adventures, new adventures, missing adventures. I don't have all the Bernice books, and I don't have the new series books because new series. I like the new series, but it's not my.
Yeah,
I don't have the nostalgia there.
But it's just listeners at home. This is an incredibly impressive array of books I'm seeing before me, including I nearly put copies of Lung Barrow and Dying Days and all that stuff in my bag and paid free.
You heard that. If they go missing, they'll be going straight after Conrad.
Thank you. It's stars.
So, who is Tom Baker? Unauthorised. Do you know what this is? Have you ever heard of it before? Have you ever seen it?
I've never heard of this before. Although, because this is. We're in 92, right? 97. I'm sorry, we're in 97. So this is full wilderness.
Yeah.
But I think this is the same year that he did Who on Earth is Tom Baker, the book.
Yes.
Which I got signed by him on Charing Cross Road. So I think I would have known Tom around this time. I would have been to see him around this time. But yeah, it was really, really, really wildernessy years. All I can really remember at the time is that those huge remote control Daleks came out from Product Enterprises.
Yeah.
So I got a couple of those.
There you go. What more do you need in your life?
Yeah, exactly. And then I met Tom Baker to get his autograph. So to be honest, I was done. So no, I had no idea this existed.
So this was while he was on sort of the promotional tour for his book. Obviously not this interview, but it's a time. I should explain to people at home because it's not like I can do a plot synopsis, but it's a tie-in video that features an interview with Tom Baker and then various other people talking about Tom Baker. And what would you say the style of it is?
The style is very interesting. So it's 1997. So it's and it's obviously very low budget. So it's just basically lots of bits of interviews, including the ones with Tom, all kind of just like crunched together in a very crunchy VHS. The two sort of things that I really noticed about it is the jaunty angles by which they are filming people on white backgrounds. Now, at the time, I didn't realise this was this made in the States or the interview?
The interview's from the States. The other footage is from the UK.
Yeah. Because I just thought, is this the era of the Word and Star?
Yeah.
There was Star Test, but that was earlier in the 80s. I was just trying to think, and it reminded me, it felt quite 80s to me, but obviously it is not. It's 90s, but it's so crunchy. It just feels like a sort of mashup of like the Word and I don't know.
It's not as good as the Word, though, is it?
No, it's not. But it's got that kind of slightly just like when everything was all just chopped up and a bit, they're trying to make stuff a bit edgy. So everything's on angles and it's all a bit crunched. I couldn't quite get a handle on the style of it.
So it's what they used to call a sell-through video, which was just basically it was straight onto the VHS shelves and HMV and stuff like that. And they'd be there for a limited amount of time. And it was just how many copies you can sell. Not based on reviews or anything like that, but just curiosity, because people forget that, I would go into HMV or something and you wouldn't have heard about this title and it was just there.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I wonder what that, oh, an interview with Tom Baker. And it's got Matthew Waterhouse in it. And so, like, if you're a fan like me, it was like you would take a risk, just like you take a risk with an album that you might not have heard when you go into HMV or whatever. And so this company also did a similar video for the Spice Girls.
Okay.
And I owned a few of these, not Tom Baker, but I had like for bands that I liked, for rappers that I liked. There was one for the Notorious B.I.G. and it was his last ever interview. And it was like a really blurry, shitty video camera interview that was about 10 minutes. Yeah. And it was just spliced up with footage of like
Elizabeth Slater.
Matthew Waterhouse talking about his favourite Notorious B.I.G. show. No, but it was the same concept. So they went back to his neighbourhood, used some news footage of the funeral and things like that, and it was like a real shoddy product. Yeah, but you didn't know what you were buying.
Wild.
Yeah, I love that it exists, but it is 100% a cash-in on how can we make some money out of Doctor Who fans. And so what happened was this company, they had a bunch of freelance directors, producers, what have you, and they were like, oh, we've acquired a Tom Baker interview, because the interview is from the early 80s.
Yeah.
So it's shot in America. It's quite a nice interview, I think. It's Tom Baker, it's shot on film, that bit, and it's Tom, presumably at American conventions, because he didn't, in the 80s, didn't really do British ones, but he'd go to America because free trip to America.
Yeah, why not?
And that probably lasts about 15 minutes in total. It's sort of spliced between it, and it's classed as the classic interview. Yeah. That they keep calling it. And Tom just sort of, I mean, how do you feel about the actual interview with Tom?
Yeah, it's interesting. The sort of time he's at, it's kind of like he's more relaxed, actually. He's you can tell it's fairly relatively recently after he's left, or a few years after he's left the series, because he's not the kind of Little Britain version of him that we got to know later, where he's really fun and fruity and everything's a performance. Mm-hmm. So he's one of the most serious I've ever seen him. Yeah, he's quite laid back. But he's answering the questions, even though they're kind of quite familiar anecdotes. He's telling them fairly straight, and he's not showboating quite so much. I don't know. I think generally he's dutifully telling these anecdotes. He gets in. There's little hints of him being, at one point he's a bit flippant about American TV. Yeah, he calls it lamentable. Yeah, which we know, which is a little bit tricky. But generally he's being very genial and ends each. He after he's finished his. Any answer, he will just flash a huge grin to signal he's finished and he's being nice.
Do you think he's had a few gins? There's something about his face to me that says perhaps he's not entirely sober.
Yeah, I think that's possibly the case.
I don't think he's drunk, but I don't think he's sober.
He's not roaring, but he's he's kind of like the sadness is a little bit there. It creeps through in the things he's talking about.
I think he still takes himself very seriously, which obviously by the late 90s he doesn't.
Absolutely.
There is that thing where he talks about American television. He goes, presumably he's been interviewed by a journalist, and he goes, I'd rather be a journalist than do some of the stuff on American television. Unless I see a journalist on American television, then I'd rather be dead.
Wow. Yeah, he comes in a couple of times. But overall, I think he's one of the best behaved I've seen him. He's not too mercurial and mischievous. He's generally answering the call. He's sort of fairly on good behaviour, I think.
Yeah, I think he is. And, as you say, he's taking his role seriously. He's taking his career seriously. He says our industry is riddled with insurance breakers. I'm in the hands of cautious men, which I thought was a lovely line.
Phrase.
While this is a bad production, at the heart of it, there is a decent interview. But it's 15 minutes. What would now be a DVD or a Blu-ray extra, you would get the 15-minute interview, and that's it. You might get a little 5 minutes with the person who directed it going, oh yeah, and we just had 10 minutes with Tom, and it was really nice to get this. I'd love to get more, but that was it. So Tom interview, great. More Tom when he's in that mode and being a bit more serious is always good.
Yeah. It's just interesting, and you do get little glimmers. Although he's being very generally pretty genial. He's there are little moments where he'll just lapse off into something.
Yeah.
Like he was just talking about television in general, and he says, television, it's on while you're naked, drunk or drugged, making love, or doing the dishes, or a marriage settlement, or if you're lonely or tired. And I was like, well, there's little windows into your world there. Yeah. And he does describe himself as fairly nomadic, secretive, and furtive. Even, which I know, which actually is probably at his most sort of serious. There's are little glimpses into probably what is going on.
Yeah,
a few years after. After it's kind of really possible to what that must be like. A few years after a 7-year run of being so famous and popular.
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of a miracle anyone makes it through that kind of stuff, because that's hard times. But he's fairly good natured, but I think with those slightly biting comments and those slightly revelatory sort of jokes, but actually they do speak volumes. There's probably quite a understandably a bit of a sad, and he's a bit of an oddball, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he comes out of Doctor Who. Him and Pertwee, I think, really suffer from being the victims of their own success, and they're so huge in the role, and then they can't really get any other work, or at least any big roles. And anybody that does cast them in something sort of wants Doctor Who. Yeah. Until Pertwee gets Wurzel Gummidge and he has to go into makeup and, to hide himself from that. And now you come out of Doctor Who, having been Doctor Who, and Hollywood or big Netflix dramas or whatever, the world is your oyster.
Yeah.
But back then, it was like, oh no, you've had the greatest success and you're never going to have anything like that again in your life. Like, 20 years' time, Ncuti Gatwa people won't even credit him as being in Doctor Who, because he's going to have such a vast career ahead of him that it will just be a footnote in his career. Yeah,
I feel like Tom maybe suffered until the sort of renaissance of Little Britain and stuff. I know he got stuff like Blackadder, and he got some, in fact, fairly soon after he did children's show The Book Tower, where was it called The Book Tower? Well, yeah, he would just read books and stuff on ITV. And I kind of always feel Tom suffered a bit more than Pertwee, because he's such an odd figure, and he was so Doctor Who, because I think because he wasn't known beforehand really that much, whereas Pertwee was known as a comedy actor, so he could maybe sort of fall back on those sort of quiz show things. Where I think Tom Baker was so just Doctor Who, it was, like you said, really hard for anyone to see him as anything else.
Yeah, I think you're right, and this sort of feeds into recently on the podcast we did his autobiography, and even though it's several years later, it's a similar sort of Tom you get in the book as you do to the interview. Now, fast forward to 1997, and this thing features interviews with Alan Barnes, who was assistant editor of Doctor Who magazine, Terence Dix, Matthew Waterhouse, and Elizabeth Sladen talking about Tom. Now, this is perhaps the slightly less put together element of the video, and this is where it screams cash in, because what they did is they went along to a Doctor Who convention in Manchester, Monopticon 5. They didn't ask whether they could do any interviews beforehand. They just rocked up on the day and said, we're here to get some interviews, and they gave everybody sort of 50 quid to interview them, and that is how they got their interviews. But the organisers of the convention don't remember them being there at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So,
did you ever go to Monopticon? Did you ever do
that? I did the Panopticons, but not the Monopticons. Oh. But yeah, it was. I would have liked to. Yeah, but I was not there.
I did a Monopticon.
Did you?
I did one. Yeah.
Was Tom Baker there?
No, Liz Sladen was though. I got a lift and Liz Sladen was in. That was terribly exciting. Yeah, it was Clayton Hickman, because it was when I was just kicking around, and he was just like, "Oh, you should come up to." He was basically said he was looking for a new assistant editor,
right? And
he's like, "Oh, it's Monoptica next week. You should come up." And I just did, And I think that helped kind of. So he gave me a job as an assistant editor, not just because of that, but I think that kind of helped, that I kind of showed willing and kind of mixed with everybody, all that kind of stuff. It was good Monopticon.
So Tom Baker was also at this Monopticon, and they asked him for an interview, and he said no.
I'm sure he said something else. Yeah, he just said no. Yeah, oh, that's interesting. So they have really gone around the houses to kind of cobble this together.
And they're not in a studio. They're in sort of a corner of the hotel lobby just doing these interviews. And I suspect, I don't know, that weird music that plays under it is to cover the sound of people walking around and talking.
This all makes sense, because that music... Now, I was trying to like work out how to describe this music. So it's 97. It is some sort of, I mean, I suppose it's some sort of electro pop or trying to be. How would you describe? So what, like bleep?
It's just very bleepy.
It's very bleepy. It's sort of like, it sounds a bit like, it's got elements of like the Futurama theme if it was done in someone's bedroom really badly and just glitching a lot. Bleepy, I think is.
Yeah, it's bleepy. It's annoying. It's like, it makes the thing almost unwatchable.
There are times where you're looking at how much, and it's all you're thinking is like, how much longer have I got to listen to this?
Yeah.
It is really
We should have put that music on while we were playing
for top trumps. That would liven to that.
So how about these other interviews? What are they like? Are they any good? It's quite a weird thing. Just everybody's just basically interviewed about Tom Baker and that's it.
Yeah, it is a bit odd. I mean, it depends who you're asking. So, I mean, Liz Sladen obviously is giving a lot of stories and stuff that we know, but she's very proper about these things.
Yeah.
So when she gives an anecdote, it's very much done Mary Poppins like. It's all perfectly, crisp and nice and sweet.
Yeah.
So I think if you'd never, I think maybe people who had picked these up off the shelf, wondering about, oh yeah, I remember Tom Baker, what's this like, or whatever. I think they'd probably get something from those.
Yeah.
Nick Courtney tells a couple.
Oh yeah, Nick Courtney's there as
well.
well.
He's there as well. He just tells one about that after they were out on the lash one night, and he invited Tom to stay, and then the kids came in, and
he was in the bath.
Yeah.
Quite odd, but I guess Nick's had a few drinks by that point, and it's a bit more sherry.
Yeah.
Then Matthew Waterhouse is obviously the most honest person.
Yeah, I found that actually the most interesting.
And the most clammy. He looked very sweaty.
There was quite a bit of sweating going.
Yeah.
So I think him and Terence Dix were both.
They don't come off well.
They're a little sweaty. But I have to say, Matthew's he's very sweet. But he's not being horrible, but he is being the most honest about. Actually, it's the most I've actually heard him really describe his first day or two on Doctor Who. And when he really describes it, I mean, I just really sympathise. He was 18, for God's sake, and just like he didn't know anybody. He did all he wanted. Well, what he said he really wanted is Tom Baker to be his hero.
Yeah.
He wanted Tom Baker to love him and to like him and think, oh, who's this adorable boy? But very quickly it becomes, I just want Tom Baker to notice me.
Yeah.
And that slightly sad story of they all Tom went off for a drink at lunchtime, and so Matthew tagged along and just sort of stood by the bar awkwardly nearby, hoping Tom would acknowledge him, which he didn't.
Yeah.
And then later Tom said to him, oh, we haven't said hello to you yet, have you? And he was all lit up. And then, as Matthew said, he sort of made some comment or suggestion later, and Tom just went, oh, piss off.
Yeah.
And he went home mortified. And I have to say, I really feel for him.
Yeah.
It isn't nice.
No, absolutely. I think perhaps when I heard these stories when I was 13, 14 years old, I found them quite funny.
Yeah.
Because it's Matthew Waterhouse and nobody likes Adric. But then you realise, you watch it as an adult and you're like, well, that was a young boy.
Yeah.
And this man's sort of talking about it jovially, but what a horrible thing to do to somebody.
Yeah, he had to go home that day.
Yeah.
And it's his first time away from home, really.
Yeah.
And Tom Baker's his absolute hero, and he spent a day sort of ignoring him, and when he does get his attention, he's time to piss off.
Yeah.
That is kind of unforgivable, really.
Yeah, it's quite sad. And especially as this video, you think, is trying to present Tom in quite a positive way.
Yeah, so I kind of appreciated them putting that in, actually. So I actually found it quite useful to hear that. I still love Tom Baker. I'm sure Tom isn't proud of that, and I'm sure him and Matthew work together now is all fine.
He's talked many times about what a dick he was back in the day, and apologised to many people.
Yeah, there we go. But so that was actually quite interesting, I thought.
It's an odd one for them to throw that in. You also sort of get like little snippets of fans. So obviously Alan Barnes is there, the assistant editor of Doctor Who magazine, and Alan's looking very 90s. He looks like a 90s lad, doesn't he?
He does. He looks so bloody young. And he keeps looking at the camera, which is quite odd. But it's funny, he just sort of says because obviously this is the year after the TV movie came out. So of course he describes the TV movie and says that seeing Paul just like, oh God, yeah, I can see Tom there and everything. And I was like, God,
I couldn't see that.
I couldn't see that, but I think he then relates it to Batman, the Tim Burton Batman films, going, oh, it's got the element of early Batman, but it's changed into something else. And I guess if you're really fresh off that TV movie, not having seen Doctor Who for years, I suppose all he's saying is there were sort of elements of old Doctor Who in there.
Yeah. I don't think it's anything like Tom Baker.
I think it just shows you the state that the fans' heads are in.
Yeah.
They're so excited to have seen something that isn't completely, I don't know.
And, there was 8 Doctors at that point, and Tom was the best. And I'm not saying Tom isn't the best now. Lots of people think he is, but there wasn't a new generation of fans with new Doctors going, no, Matt Smith's the best. No, it's Jodie Whittaker or whatever. Yeah. It was very much like Doctor Who was great until Tom Baker left, then it went shit, and then Paul McGann came back for one night. Yeah. And he was good, but the movie was shit. And that was sort of the general consensus of fandom. Yeah. So it's interesting to see him. I mean, he could just as easily be in a documentary about football or something, Danny Baker's 100 best goals or something.
He has got a feel of one of those kind of things.
Yeah.
I think it's Alan Barnes that once sort of briefly describes Tom as a father figure. And I was just like, I don't think, I grew up with Tom as my doctor, and I don't think, I was like, no.
Maybe he had a really bad relationship with his dad.
Maybe he did, but to Tom's doctor is just not, there's no responsibility.
Yeah.
He's so fun, he's so warm, he's so great, but there's no sense of him being responsible.
He's like a fun uncle, if you
he's
anything.
Definitely a fun
the uncle that's going to give you loads of sweets and then hand you back to your parents.
That's it, exactly. Yeah,
the opposite of responsible.
I think so. And Terence Dicks, of course, talked about when they hired him and went to see him in is it Golden Voyage of Sinbad?
Yeah,
I think it is, which I watched over Christmas actually, just for the hell of it. It's fantastic, and Tom is so good in it. Considering you've put him in a turban and a long beard, and say go and be an Eastern wizard,
right?
He is not doing. He takes it incredibly seriously. Yeah. He's in the whole film, like most scenes, and he really is absolutely brilliant.
Right.
I think it's is it Seventh Voyage, Golden Voyage? I can't remember which one it is.
There's a voyage that happens.
It's the one with Tom Baker in it. Honestly, do watch it because he is really fantastic in that. But he makes the point about charisma, the fact that Tom's got so much charisma.
Yeah.
And how the charisma and the acting are sort of which is more important.
Yeah, and I think the casting of Tom Baker is sort of responsible for all those weird casting ideas that the press always used to trudge up in the 90s, because Tom was almost the personality over the actor, even though he's definitely acting.
Yes.
And I think because of that, people go, oh, well, it's the personality. It's got to be an actual eccentric. And it's like, no, it doesn't. They can actually just be a normal person and just be good at acting and have a take on it. But that's why for years it's going to be Eddie Izzard because they're so charismatic.
Quirky,
It's like,
regardless of whether they're an actor or not.
Yeah, exactly. So it's interesting to hear Terence's take on him. I'm always there. Any Terence Dicks interview on there, I just think he's great.
He is wonderful. Yeah, it's great to have him. And he makes intelligent comments and stuff. And he does allude as well to Tom being quite a private, shy person as well. So he does give us some stuff. But yeah, it's so nice to see him again. And yeah, I think there was a bit again where Tom just sort of he was sort of joking, but he did sort of say like, oh, he didn't have much education, he can't sing, can't dance, can't play an instrument, perfect for the Happiness Patrol, and he can't speak a foreign language, and he's sort of doing it to make a point. But there is that point there of him being this quite an insecure person, and why we don't really know much about him and stuff. But I don't know. Overall, it was, the actual production of this video is pretty crunchy and strange, but...
So it's got no credits on it. It ends just with a question mark. No one can really remember why that is, but, the director who used to do commercials and all sorts of little bits of telly and stuff like that was just like, I mean, there's always a world where I just said I don't want my name on it and was just taking the check. He says it's the worst thing he ever did.
Wow.
What I should say is I've got the DVD in my hands here. Real-Time Pictures basically have spruced it up a little bit and done a documentary about, only 10, 15 minutes, just about why this thing is, how it came to be, some of the information I'm giving you here today. And that documentary is probably, it's better made and more interesting than the actual thing itself. So it's one of those little things that Real-Time have just sort of gone, we've got the rights to it, we're going to preserve it for Doctor Who fans. But they've released it with a sort of a caveat of, we know this isn't very good. We didn't make it, but we just thought it would be nice for you to have it.
I was really glad to see it. Like I said, I'm getting to the stage now where I'm kind of like finishing my Tom Baker collection. I'm buying old top trump cards. This is how the bottom of the barrel is being scraped. But like, it's always good for me to see new old Tom Baker stuff. And, at the time of recording this, Tom Baker's 91, and you never know when. I can't even talk about it, but we're not
going to talk. He's going to live forever.
He is going to live forever. Everything's going to be fine. But you know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know. I'm just always grateful to see anything. And I haven't seen that interview before. It's always nice to see different elements of Tom.
There's a couple of other obscure Tom interviews out there.
Okay.
So there was another thing. It's called A Sci-Fi Audience with Tom Baker, which was basically a live thing that I want to say, like Riverside Studios. It's just sort of it wasn't a convention. It was like an evening with Tom Baker, and it was made by JNT TV, and it was just a video from JNT's little production company, directed by Fiona Cumming. And I remember it because it had John Nathan Turner's home address on the back of it if you wanted to get in touch with the company.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, and so I imagine that'll show up at some point on DVD or something. But that's quite interesting, although it does do stupid things like he talks about cats and it just sort of flashes up a picture of a cat. It's like, we know what cats
like
are.
Like a PowerPoint presentation.
And it's not even Tom's cat. It's just like, and I've got 7 cats, and it's like, cat. But, it's fun. And then there's the Who on Earth is Tom Baker, which was the video he did for Real Time where he interviews himself.
Oh yeah, that's an extraordinary thing. Yeah.
I mean, that's because that's all Tom. Like his wife directs it.
Yes,
and I love that. I think that's. I mean, as you say, it's extraordinary.
Yeah, I've only seen bits of it. I think the Review of Death Boys did a video of it. Review of it a while ago. So I saw bits of it. It looks deeply odd.
It is very odd, but it's a lot of fun because it's Tom sort of letting loose, but he's still sort of the interview side of it's very serious.
Yeah,
but then him interviewing himself is less so. So it's very odd, but well worth a watch. All these little oddities from the 90s and whatever era.
Yeah,
I'm always happy to see light and to cover them.
I will take one. If you find any more of these weird videos or stuff, I'm sure I can dig out some more weird topics. After that game of Top Trumps, like, no fear.
So, who is Tom Baker? Unauthorised. Is it a clanger, a banger, an average meander?
It's not a banger, so I'm going to rule that one out.
Yeah, 100%.
Is it a clanger? It's got quite a lot of clang. I think what it is, but it's not offensively bad. What the music is. I'm going to just call it an average meander.
Right, I'm going to go clanger because I just think it's a bad production. And it's also like, if it was a bunch of fans who were, this was their thing, and they were like, we're so proud we just made this one film. Yeah. I would give it more credit, but because it's a cynical cash-in made by people who don't care, I'm a bit more like, no, it clangs. If this is a professional production you're trying to sell to people, like you're professional video makers.
Okay,
try a little bit harder.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I'm going to defer.
Excellent.
I think that's a clanger.
Too hot for TV.
Right. Well, we've had a bang, we've had a clang.
I mean, we've played some cards. Please can I put my clothes back on?
Yeah, you can.
Thank you.
So if people want to find you on the internet, where can they find you?
You can find me on Blue Sky at Hair of the Hound. I'm not on there loads these days, but I might be on there a bit. And I turn up in Big Finish now and again.
Excellent. Next time, I'll be joined by Jeff from Who, Corner to Corner. Together, we'll be looking at 2 13th Doctor adventures, the comic strip Old Friends, and the BBC audiobook The Romanoff Project. Until next time, I've been Dylan.
I've been Conrad.
And this has been Doctor Who, Too Hot for TV.
Too hot for TV.
Hello?
Left Top Trumps.
Oh, you've just walked in on 2 men doing something really disturbing.
Again. Hello.
This is Daisy, Conrad, Daisy.
Hello, it's lovely to meet you. Can I have a hug?
Sorry. I'm really a bit tipsy. I just walked from the station. Yeah,
We've just been recording a game of Top Trumps.
Oh.
So it's
How you doing?
Okay. I'll leave you to it. I just bit of a slow day. So I just thought I'm going to come home.
Well, we can move into the office and you can have the lounge.
That's okay.
We don't mind. We've done the game.
so this is actually quite good. You kind of arrived in the nick of time.
Yeah, we've just put all our clothes back on.
Yeah, phew.
It's up to you. Wherever.
We'll move into the office. Don't
Yeah,
you worry.
that game bit's over. Thank you, Dave. This place is fucking awesome, by the way.